So this is one of the biggest games of the Fever season, and I get it. I think when they played, they were like 4-3 when they played the Atlanta Dream the first time, and everybody was talking about how this is a legacy game for Caitlin Clark and all this. No, it's not. This is not a legacy game for Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is third in the league in scoring. This is not a legacy game for Caitlin Clark. This is any of the narratives of, Caitlin Clark's not gotten any better. Caitlin Clark is a locker room cancer. Caitlin Clark. If you want to say Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White don't fit together, sure, I agree with that statement. But like any of the like personal shots at Caitlin Clark, anyone with a brain knows, like, that's just haters being haters. But at the same time, we've got to be very clear here. Very, very clear. And like it is we've got the Mercury against Fever here. And the Fever are playing a really bad team who aren't a really bad team, if you get me. So the Mercury destroyed the Storm. Absolutely destroyed the Storm from start to finish. The Phoenix Mercury, let's compare starting fives. Kalia Copper versus Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell's better. But on any given game, Kalia Copper can be better than Kelsey Mitchell. Hence, why Kalia Copper is a guarantee to play for America in the World Cup, and Kelsey Mitchell didn't even make the practice squad. Then it is Alyssa Thomas versus Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is better, but on any given game, Alyssa Thomas can be better than Caitlin Clark. That's point guard for point guard. 2 for 2. Center matchup. Aaliyah Boston, much better than Tasha Bank. Lexi Hull versus Lexi Held. Lexi Held is better. Brochant versus Mo Billings. They're even. So starting five, I give the advantage to the Fever on paper. But again, you've got players that this could flip very quickly if on the day AT outplays Caitlin and Kalia Copper or outplays Kelsey Mitchell. But if you look at the bench, DeWanna Bonner is better than Sophie Cunningham. She just is. She's slightly better. Valuayai she had 18 points here. And I've been saying this all the time. It's like, you just kind of know she's been struggling, but like she's one of France's best players. Like she came in as a starter, played her way in and out. If Valuayai gets going, she's better than every player on the Fever's bench. Kiara Linskins is significantly better than any big the Indiana Fever have off the bench. And thankfully, Monica Cole-McCanney's not playing. If Monica Cole-McCanney was playing, this would be such a tough one. Such a tough one for the Indiana Fever because Cole-McCanney can guard Caitlin. Today's game, pretty much comes down to, is Caitlin Clark going to take over? And I don't mean score 30. I mean, is she going to dominate the game? Because if we're being honest, Nate Tibbetts is one of those coaches that is going to, I'm not going to say in the Steph White mold, but he's going to adapt his play style entirely. His his play style is going to be different. He's going to run crazy matchups. He's going to run junk zones. And it's going to be a really tough one to win because they're going to, you better believe there's not going to be a team. There will not be a team that attacks Caitlin Clark more than the Phoenix Mercury. They're going to do everything they can to get Caitlin switched on to Kalia Copper. And anything that can be done to slow down Caitlin Clark is going to be done by Nate Tibbetts. It's as simple as that. That is the type of coach he is. He is like a more modern version. He's like Stephanie White mentality with like modern principles. Stephanie White is old school. Like she is as old school as it gets. Nate Tibbetts is like a similar mentality, but with modern principles. And is a little bit less like, you know what? Yeah, like I think you can maybe argue Tibbetts is like, but he'll at least build around his players. He'll build around his players, and he's fine with doing so. But this is one of those things where The DeWanna Bonner is on this team. DeWanna Bonner is somebody that screwed over the Fever. Screwed over Caitlin Clark, for being real. Caitlin Clark did everything, even to get DeWanna Bonner's her assist back. I'll say her record, getting her an assist. Heck, got DeWanna Bonner on a cover of Sports Illustrated. And DeWanna Bonner just leaves. DeWanna Bonner just leaves. And that matters too. And look, the Indiana Fever are going to take this shit personally. And they've done a very good job this year of beating the teams they're supposed to beat. Like, other than the Mystics game, which, if we're being real, when the Mystics are up for a game, they can beat anybody. They can beat absolutely anybody on their day. I don't think the Mystics are this unbelievable team. But I do feel like on their day, they have a puncher's chance against anybody. So it's not the end of the world losing to that team. But you still want to beat them. You still want to beat them. And if they go and lose this game here, like, I'm going to be real. The Indiana Fever's record against what I believe are the quote-unquote good teams in the WNBA. And I'm not considering the Portland Fire. I don't care why the Portland Fire are. I don't consider them a good team. So the good teams in the WNBA are the 6 teams ahead of them. And I think the Sparks are okay. And I also think the Phoenix Mercury today, they're a good team. They're just playing badly. So if it turns out, when it's all said and done, that the Indiana Fever are facing whatever against the good teams, if they lose today, and again, I think on paper the Mercury are a good team. They just made the finals. They are 0-1 if they lose today. 1-1, 2-2, because I think the Mystics are actually okay. Because they've been trying. 2-2. 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, 4-6. They're 4-6 against good teams. And obviously, they have wins against the Sky, the Storm, the Sun. And they made this a really tough win. They took overtime here, took a buzzer beater to beat the Mystics. They nearly blew a 20-point lead against the Sparks. They lost by 20 to Fire. They needed Brittany Sykes to get injured to win this game comfortably. And they choked double-digit leads against New York, Atlanta, Washington. I think that might be it. That they've choked double-digit leads to lose. They've choked double-digit leads to go down in plenty of games. Yeah, look, it's a key one. This really is a key one. Like, if they go and lose this game, we are rightfully in panic mode. Like, we go into full panic mode. It's not like it's if you look even at the Aces last year, the Aces have won however many championships. You always have the confidence that the Aces are, like, they're going to come back. Like, I don't think anyone thought, oh yeah, the Aces aren't going to make the playoffs last year. Yes, there was rumblings of it, because with 16 games to go in the season, they weren't in the playoffs. They went 16-0, and the Washington Mystics went 2-14 in those last 16 games. But yeah, it's a really, really tough one here. Because look, if you're the Mercury, if you go and win back-to-back over the Fever, if the Fever split the Mercury, it's not like the end of the world. The Mercury are a better team than their record suggests. They beat the Aces by 30. If the Fever split this series, they played them in their next 2 games. They played them. When did they play them? They played them today, and they played them on Wednesday. So they've today and Wednesday. They split it. Not at the end of the world. But if they lose both, and they go to 9-9, and then if you look at the Fever schedule, if you got 9-9, you're on a 2-game slide facing against the LA Sparks team, who are finding ways to grind out wins. And then suddenly you go on a 4-game road stand where you play the Aces twice. And then you come out of that with Golden State, New York. Yes, you come up against Seattle, Connecticut, Seattle, Portland. But at that stage, you're looking at potentially being 500 through 25 games with a rough end to the season. Like, you have to play Minnesota 3 times. You still have to play Vegas. You still have to play New York. You have to play Dallas twice more in that spell. You have to play Toronto in Toronto twice. Like, that is a tough one. Like, playing Toronto in Toronto twice is not good. It's going to be a really, really tough game. And you're obviously playing against a bunch of teams that want to beat you. And if you're pushing 500 and you're in that playoff hunt, Toronto want to make the playoffs. Portland are going to fade, but they want to make the playoffs. The Mercury are still going to be fighting. The Sky probably, I don't think the Sky have it in them. So the Mystics now, seeing the Sky being bad, are going to push for it. So suddenly, everyone talking about the Fever being up there with the top teams. No. The Fever are fighting for that 8th spot. In hindsight, like, if you look at this team, they won 20 games last year. The best they're going to get is the 5th pick. If they average 20 wins. Because Portland aren't winning 20 games. Toronto might. And one of them, if the Sparks, might make it. But you are you could go into free fall. And look, is this the opposite? If Fever win 3 in a row, they go in at 12-7. And you have to, my guess is you have to be 500 to make playoffs. You're 5 games above 500. Even if you go 2 or 3, you're in good shape. 5 games above 500 halfway through the year. I don't see them imploding the rest of the way, especially because you have to play Seattle twice more. You still have to play Connecticut twice more. So you still have those kind of easy wins that should keep you above 500. But if they're hovering around 500, if they lose these 3 instead of being 5 games above 500, like, these are key ones. Because again, look, if they win both those Atlanta games, and it was theirs for the taking in both of those games. Like, late on, they were in both of those games in the 4th quarter. I don't care what anyone says. When you're down by 7 points with 6 minutes to go, just because your coach gave up doesn't mean that you're out of that game. They were a stop and a 3-pointer away from it being a 1-possession game, technically. Dallas came back down 6 with 30 seconds to go. It's one of those things where, yes, they've been in those games. But the Fevers keep losing games that they should be in. They should be doing better in. So, yeah, that's the video. See you guys.